Just as we have a pointer to a character type of data, a pointer to an integer type of data, a pointer to a float, in C we can have a pointer to a structure type of data, because a structure is a user defined or a user created type of a data. So let us say I have student record where I have the name and marks as the members of a structure. So using typedef, I have created student representing this particular struct student rec. So wherever instead of typing struct student rec, if I type just student, it will create a variable of this particular type. Now what we are trying to do here is, let us try to take a look at this particular main. In main, what I am doing here is, I have using the type def, I have created a pointer to a structure type of data. So this SPTR is a pointer to a structure. That means the only meaning of that is it can hold the address of data type of this particular members. So SPTR is a pointer to a structure. That means it can hold the address of some other structure of the same type. So some student is a normal structure variable. SPTR is a pointer to a structure. Since they are all of the same data type, SPTR contains the address of this particular structure. Now in order to read some data, last time we had done something like this. I say read record, I send SPTR. SPTR is containing the address of some student. So the address is passed. Once the address is passed, in read record, I am doing something similar to what I did last time. Void read record. Since the address is being passed, I say student star one student. Enter the name and marks. So scanf percentage f. It is one student dot name. This star is in bracket because dot has higher precedence than star. Similarly, star one student dot mark and the address, because for array you don't need the address, but for marks being a floating point you need the address symbol here. Let us say we entered Anita and 99.56 as the marks of this particular student. This is very similar to the previous program I showed you. The only difference here is I am using a pointer to a structure to store the address of some structure. Now the address is passed. Now I am showing you something interesting. Now I have not used print record. Okay, print record is not required, so just forget this print record. I think I should take that out. Now what I am doing here is I am printing the information of this particular student. I am printing Anita's data here. Now in order to avoid the complication of having this bracket star one student dot name and all, which we saw in the previous example, we use the arrow operator. So when you are using star pointer or when you are using a pointer to a structure, using this arrow operator, without all these star dot, you can print the name. So the star dot is replaced by this arrow operator. Similarly for mark, SPTR of arrow mark. So this way you are going to print the name and marks of Anita and 99.56. I'll just briefly summarize this arrow operator. In order to avoid the confusion and complication of using the star along with the dot, okay, star along with the dot and the requisition of a parenthesis, C made it easy by replacing all that with the arrow operator. So instead of doing all this kind of complicated thing, I can refer to name as SPTR arrow name and marks as SPTR arrow marks. So this is how you will use a arrow operator. If you had passed it by normal value, you could also have printed like this, but we're not doing that particular thing in this particular function. So I hope your understanding of how do you define a pointer to a structure is clear and how are values printed using a pointer to a structure.